Hello, and welcome to ESC. No, not my evilly scrumptious cookies, and no, you can't have one. It's the Extreme Scrutiny Club, where every few weeks each of your hosts brings a robot to table, and we vote together on whether it should ascend to the arena or should be stamped down into the Pit of Oblivion alongside such lovely rejects like Banshee and Detonator.
You had to do it right at the start.
I had to do it. I'm really sorry, but I had to do it. We are your hosts.
I'm Reira, the Empress, and I'm now sad.
I'm Oliver, the evil dork. Mwahaha.
And I'm Mitch the Orc, and I guess I'm the really evil one today. And well, today we are covering Battlebots 2019 again because we felt it was good to have a recap at this late in the season. We've just done the round of 16, and oh boy, it's been pretty vicious, hasn't it?
I feel like our episode where we spoke about Lucky, we really should have waited, because oh boy, did Lucky get worse. But also, you're forgetting someone. We've commandeered a Battlebots roboteer herself. In fact, possibly one of the most personality-full and fun to be around roboteers in history.
Personalityful, that's a word.
Yeah,
It is most definitely a word. I've added it to the dictionary.
Yes, please introduce yourself.
Hello.
So, did you want to tell us about all that experience you don't have?
Oh, yeah, I didn't deserve to be at BattleBots, really. And, the fans have said so, and their opinions are the ones that count.
You just drive buses, right?
I just drive buses, and I'm good at bus driving.
Do you know what a robot is? Have you seen one before?
No, I don't. Why am I here again? I'm on day release. Is this all right? Am I allowed to be here?
Help, guys, she's broken in.
I'm on a podcast again.
Where would our listeners recognize you from if they are somehow unable to recognize the wonderful Sarah Malyan?
Arkham Asylum.
No,
Oh, wonderful.
Otherwise known as Battlebots. You probably, if you're a member of the Facebook group Robot War Shuntposting, you'll recognise me as the resident despot. And if you're into King of Bots, you will have seen me on their featherweight competition last year. And if you were quick enough to have seen me on Robot Wars, because it was a blink and you miss it kind of appearance, I was very briefly on Robot Wars.
Don't forget about the most awesome Beetleweight show of all time that you produce.
I do. I was getting to that. Thank you.
Yeah, Reira.
Oh, sorry.
I also commandeer with two other lovely gentlemen the ship that is known as Battlebots, which is a Beetleweight fighting robot competition, which you can watch on YouTube. Search at Battlebots on YouTube. Shameless plug.
Something, the funny word. Haha, when.
You can see my ugly mug talking to some roboteers about how they feel about their fight.
So compared to what people say, really, you've had quite a bit of experience in the robotics world.
I do, and it's great when you get overlooked because as a woman, that never happens to me at all, right?
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But hey, what can you do?
No experience whatsoever. Years of academy training wasted.
I know. What is my life? What am I doing? Why am I here?
Well, you're here hopefully to discuss some BattleBots with us. Because
we will. Should we discuss some real BattleBots because those other ones have experience.
Build Nelly. Haha.
Did.
So, after that really awful intro where I forgot to introduce our guest. Sorry, I didn't mean to forget. Yes, we are discussing BattleBots again because we did feel it was kind of important to just look at the late game really and discuss some more robots. I think also we should briefly talk about the 3 robots that we discussed last time because I think that'd be a good way to start us off.
Lucky's gotten nothing but worse to talk about the one that my wonderful refereeing got us in trouble with. Yeah, no, Lucky just died more this season. It's just been bullied all season.
Yeah, it was definitely a shame for Lucky.
What about the robot you two have brought? So Oliver brought Witch Doctor.
I did bring Witch Doctor, and I am very, very happy to say Not to gloat or anything, but it's doing as well as I thought it would right from when I first saw the pictures of it. It's in the top 16.
Deservedly.
Deservedly. It is brutal this year. It is so scary.
The look of glee on Andrea's face after every win is also just so wholesome, because you kind of get the idea that she just, like, she probably expects to win sometimes, but I think she's somewhat taken aback at every win as well.
I mean, not to gloat either. I mean, yeah, death roll.
Something death roll.
Jesus, like, Witch Doctor's done very well, but death roll. Oh, you feisty beast. What a great
4
robot.
and 0. Well, as of top 16, 5
Five.
and 0.
That was a very brutal takedown on Yeti. That was
It was done in a flash. Yeti didn't look like it stood a chance. I mean, as someone who was at the event, Sarah, what were some of those fights like in the top 16? Stuff like Death Roll Yeti and Witch Doctor Blacksmith?
I think that people don't appreciate the noise that these robots make when they collide. When you are by the arena, you know, even taking into account you've got the arena walls between you. I mean, some of those collisions sound like car crashes, and some of them sound worse than car crashes. Yeah, you can't pick that up on the telly at all, like just how loud it is. And when you've got two really hard hitters like Yeti or Witch Doctor or Death Roll, I mean, they're just, the noise is insane. I highly recommend going to people, because just purely for the noise factor.
Please support your local heavyweight live scene.
yes.
Absolutely.
Support your Battlebots and your Battlebots.
At this point, it will have been a month since we won Stevenage, Sarah.
You will probably at Stevenage see me with ear defenders, because honestly, they are so loud. And that's just the flippers. I mean, you can't have spinners in the Robots Live Arena, but honestly, I can't justify the volume that some of the Battlebot spinners can get when they collide with their opponents. It's just insane.
Absolutely. So, who have we all brought along today? Because I've brought possibly one of my surprise superstars of the season, and genuinely awesome and beautiful robot, Railgun Max.
Oh, yes.
It is.
And Elaine Wu is just a joy to watch. Her interviewing has been brilliant. She is on form and absolutely just happy to be there. She's got the balance of, I can make a joke and do all the funny egg beater jokes in my intros, but I can also pair that up with being a genuinely awesomely powerful robot. And that's really awesome to see.
Unlike Nelly, which just brings the jokes.
I can talk more about that when we actually get into that. Who have the other two of you? Because Mitch will be refereeing for this
I will be
episode.
refereeing. I'm ready and waiting.
So I have bought Blacksmith because Blacksmith is in the top 16. This happened, and I feel like we need to talk about it. Also, Bonk, we have Crazy Hammer Lady on. Must bring hammers.
Bring hammers.
Lipo Mallet.
Oh.
Lipo Mallet.
Lipo mallets are terrible and no one should build them.
Oh, God.
I'm going to bring huge to the table.
Huge boy.
I'm a small person, so I'm bringing huge robots.
So that's a very good reason. As a fellow short person, I commend you for it. So, as referee, as Reira said, I am completely neutral. I'll be standing back with facts if I need to interject, and just to bring these three scallywags in order.
We haven't mentioned who Sarah's bringing yet, or shall we just do Sarah first?
We just have.
We just did.
Ignore me. I'm half asleep. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day for everyone. I failed the intro. You missed the introduction. It's fine. Let's just go with it. Okay, so yeah, I've got to keep these three scallywags in order. So, which of you wants to go first?
I don't mind, honestly.
Well, Your Majesty, I think you should take the floor first.
Okay, right. I came prepared for this. I made notes and everything.
I am so proud of
Fantastic.
you.
I approve.
Oliver
Yes.
will love the fact that you've made notes. Oliver is our resident dork for a reason, so
Yes, absolutely. So, Your Majesty, you have 3 minutes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
When your time starts now.
Okay, first of all, with Huge, the eyes. Who doesn't love the huge eyes? I mean, for a start, they just kind of make the robot. And Huge isn't huge without those amazing eyes. Plus, they're adjustable, so Huge's expression can change depending on how it feels about its opponent, which is a pretty good tactic, in my opinion. You never know who it's going to affect. Secondly, those big old wheels. I mean, they're ridiculous, but also genius. Huge is the only robot which could plausibly climb stairs. I know there's no stairs in Battlebots. Well, to be honest, this season's floor wasn't far off. But I digress. If you found yourself in a zombie apocalypse and could pick one combat robot to defend you, I'd pick Huge any day. It can come with me upstairs. There are no transport limitations here. So also, I have to admit that when it made its debut in season 3, I was very skeptical of it because it just looks so dorky. I mean, I say that completely unironically as Nelly's mother, but I mean, honestly, it just looks so like this just wonky, clumsy thing that somehow staggers into the arena like it was a kid who drank a soda laced with vodka, like a drunk toddler, right? I mean, disagree with me. I dare you.
how have we gotten up to drunk toddlers? What is this?
Also, I have to confess that when I first saw it, I called it shit Gabriel, but I have now gladly eaten my words on this since. Having now competed on BattleBot and as the owner of a BattleBot with a weapon system which is exposed at the top, Huge is genuinely terrifying. I've said this recently on the Shuntcast, actually. I'm generally speaking not scared of spinners, which we can all appreciate. You know, I happily took on Deep Six, and I'd likewise happily take on the likes of Bite Force or Tombstone. But if you asked me which spinner I was genuinely scared of, it's absolutely 100% Huge.
So what you're saying is that we don't want to fight Huge next year?
No, we don't. So not least because I've had Featherweight Nelly's weapon system torn up by Tom Brewster's straddle, which is essentially Featherweight Huge. So, you know, I know what I'm talking about here. But my final and I think most obvious reason to send Huge to the arena in the sky is because it's so big, it's pretty much up there anyway. And it's questionable whether it would fit into the pit.
As someone tall enough that when I stand up, I see into the arena in the sky, I can agree with that.
Sarah, you have 22 seconds. Do you have any more points or?
Also, Huge lent me 2 items of robot equipment, the tires, which people know about, but also something else which will be revealed in due course. So they're nice guys. So they're going to the arena in the sky.
As a member of Team Nelly, I know.
All right.
All right.
It was a single screw. It wasn't.
Well, on that bombshell, time's up. So it's open
We're not discussing bombshell.
Shush. I'm refereeing and I will be impartial, but I'll tell you to shush if you sass me.
You
Do not
can't.
sass
Red
me.
card, Reira. Red card. Go to the CPZ.
You can't shush me, I quit. No, I don't. I love this podcast too much.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes, the floor is open. You're welcome to put points towards Huge, good or bad. So yeah.
I think the point that I want to bring up most is, as I was saying about Andrea, I'm probably butchering that surname. Jonathan Schultz has this wild, childlike glee in his eyes whenever he's doing well, and the little hand slap on the window when he won against who was it?
It's funny because he's mild mannered normally, and you don't expect that from him.
He's like I think a lot of fans are if they gotten behind a robot and then won. Honestly, it's brilliant, and it's really refreshing to see as well, because it's really nice to see him just be so happy. When Huge first came on the scene, again, I looked at it and went, holy crap, that's something that's extremely unique. Not to the point that, other robots have done the big wheel thing. The big wheel, sorry. But, having a spinner in the middle is such a genius idea, because you're going to hit the top armor with a spinner. That's vertical, and that's awesome. I think that Huge is something that's going to be iconic in even years to come, and I think that that's the best thing about Huge. I think that no matter what happens in the future of robot combat, we'll always be able to look back at Huge and go, that was an iconic point in robot combat, and that's awesome. If it doesn't get sent to the arena, what are we doing?
It gets sent to the pit. I'm getting Tim, and I'm causing a riot.
Oh, we'd love Tim. We'd love Tim on the podcast, but not to hit us, please. I mean, he was brilliant on our Robo Nerd special. He spent half the time Googling the robot he'd been given.
So he came prepared then. I did my homework. No, Tim.
Well, I've got to echo a lot of the things that Reira's saying about Huge. Particularly the season 4 version of Huge is just improved in every single way from the last version, and it's becoming more and more refined and more adapted and well designed for its job. Smacking robots with the biggest bar possible, apart from while being stable. So we're not because
spin.
Because Deep Six tries to smack things with the biggest bar possible, but it is not stable. So
it tries.
Yeah,
it tries, damn it.
It tries.
Deep Six isn't the heaviest spinner, though. Do you know what one is? And it will surprise you. It will surprise you. The heaviest weapon in this season of BattleBots is Shell Shock.
Oh yeah, because it's the entire fucking robot, isn't it?
And then I think second and third, I believe, is between Captain Shredderator and Gigabyte, depending on which shell either two of them uses. And then it's Deep Six. Deep Six is actually fourth.
That doesn't surprise me when you think that a lot of the weight of the entire robot goes into it without the need for as much stabilization. That's actually
where does Son of Waiachi rank then?
Surprisingly low, I'd imagine, because theirs is more about the build of the robot rather than the weight behind it, I think, from the looks of it at least.
I think they're close to Deep Six and the full body spinners, but off the top of my head, I can't remember it. I saw a list of it recently, and I think I'm accurate on it, but I'm sure if I'm not, somebody will correct it. Oh, Son of Waiachi, I've just found out. Son of Waiachi is 120 pounds, so actually Deep Six is fifth then.
Oh, damn.
So having said all of that, Huge has gone against Gigabyte and Son of Waiachi this season, two of the heaviest spinning blades in the competition. And after losing to Ice Wave in spectacular fashion last year, it's shown that the problems that it had, splitting apart, the wheels not necessarily holding together, by and large have been fixed, other than the incident with Son of Waiachi. And I've been trying to find this, but I haven't been able to in all of my research. But I've read a post on, I think it was a comment on one of the Combat Robotics posts or BattleBots Facebook group posts somewhere about somebody who'd analysed the actual impact frame by frame when the wheel broke against Son of Waiachi, and basically it was just more of a flex than a cut, than a sort of a plastic failure. It sort of flexed too far, I seem to remember, or something to that. Somebody correct me if they do know. But it's in pretty much every respect that it could be. It's really improved, and it's shown it again and again. It's taken out Bronco. Okay, they weren't having a great season. Hyper Shock, which was an amazing fight, one of the best of the series in my opinion.
It's pronounced Branco.
And a really, really strong fight against Whiplash. And Matt Vasquez as a driver is perhaps one of the best in the sport.
That fight against Whiplash was such a shame. I'm going to grumble a little. I think that the judging criteria this year has been a little bit askew, and I think it's been a little bit different fight to fight. And I am sure, again, I can be corrected on that, and I don't think that BattleBots means any ill will by it. But even when Chris is saying things like, oh, they took off a wheel, I don't know if that's enough damage, when, in previous fights that's been, oh, he took off a wheel, though. It seems a little inconsistent. And I'm not that phased by the inconsistency. I'm just a bit hurt that Huge didn't get further than it did, because Huge definitely deserved. Yeah. I had Huge pin for the final.
I do know what you
Hydra
mean.
Pin for the final, and I feel that they did quite a chunk of damage to Whiplash in that fight.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but personally, as a fan, I tend to favor control and aggression over damage in my head. Sometimes looking back on it, that isn't necessarily the way that the fight should go, but in certainly just looking at it, obviously I wanted Huge to win, but
You
I could
can't
see
deny that Huge was unbelievably aggressive in that fight.
absolutely. But
They would
the
not
control
let
that
up.
Whiplash had over the fight, I think, from in my mind, won it for them personally. But I do get what you mean
That's a
about
fair
it being
point.
slightly inconsistent.
Absolutely fair
And
point.
yeah, it's definitely better than season 2
Yeah.
of the reboot. Yeah, they're learning. They're
Yeah.
not quite there yet, but they're getting better.
Was there as much controversy about this in the pits, Sarah?
Obviously, at that point in the competition, everything's a blur because you're just so tired. But by the end,
I
of
can
the
imagine. I
competition,
have all this to look forward to next year.
And I think I didn't see this fight live. I think we were preparing for an exhibition match, and because I don't recall watching Huge versus Whiplash live, so I couldn't say about the pit reaction. My reaction to watching it on TV was I thought Huge had it. My attitude towards judges' decisions is largely vague because as a Brit in my head, I kind of automatically go to Robot Wars rules, and Battlebots is consistently inconsistent. So I've just kind of learned to deal with that, right? But then still every now and then there are fights that make me go, that's bullshit. And I definitely said it's bullshit when Huge lost that fight. Yeah, I felt, Huge caused more damage, which, Battlebot seems to prioritize more. I didn't feel that Whiplash's weapon worked from reasonably early on in the fight. And absolutely, Matt Vasquez was being, very controlled and very aggressive, but Huge was being aggressive too. And Huge was the one racking up the damage points. So I don't understand how Whiplash has won that. I'm not going to throw any shade at the judges because, whatever, they've got rules in front of them and they're doing their job. I, in my heart, disagreed with that decision. I felt Huge won that. If I was a judge, I'd have given it to Huge. But I'm not a judge, so there we go.
Make Sarah a judge 2020.
No, because then I can't compete for 3 years.
It's all right. We'll cover you. We went to Nelly.
Yeah, I think to step in, I watched the round of 16 this morning because I was too tired to watch it last night. I had a long day. I was like, I can't be out. Sorry. Yeah, when I was watching that fight, I wasn't sure at first if, well, I'm still kind of not sure if Huge broke Whiplash's spinner or if Whiplash wasn't using the spinner because it was focusing more on lifting Huge because there is that. My idea was that Whiplash has the reach to spin the weapon and attack the thin body of Huge because that's where everything is. It's not in the wheels. It's not doing a stinger because the wheel's too thin. But when I remember watching it to the end, I was like, yeah, Huge did damage. It ripped a wheel off, and that was a very good first hit. But the aggression and control, I think, has just gone to Whiplash, and I think that's where it lied. But what do I know?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I came from it, but it's not a hill I'm willing to die on.
No.
It was a really, really close fight, and props to Whiplash for getting the win. They've done really well, and
I've got no ill will towards Whiplash at all.
And they're kind of exploiting the Battlebots rules in a sense, in that they have the spinner to get the damage points, but the primary weapon, the Vasquez guys say all the time, is the lifter, and they do use it to great effect. And so they sort of making a lifter work in a spinner heavy meta.
Fair. No, I'll give you that as well. Should we? I feel like I'm ready to vote.
Yeah, are we ready to vote? Do we have any more points to say about this lovely Huge robot?
Other
It's a
than
big deal.
Big spin.
If there's no other points, then I'm going to have to count down to a vote. Who wants to vote
Movement.
I don't mind jumping in and voting first.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Super innovative design, slightly evil strategy against Gigabyte, and yeah, they've just been on form this year. Really deserved all the success that they got, and I really, really look forward to seeing where they go next year. This robot in its 2 seasons so far has been so impressive, so different, and it's like what I said on the previous episodes about Battlebots and it being a invitation only or application only tournament rather. It's inspiring new and creative designs, and Huge is one of them. It's got to go straight to the arena. It's wonderful.
That's one vote to the Arena in the Sky.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about Huge. I had them pinned for the champion. I had genuinely had them pinned for the nut, and that's something that I don't do lightly. They have a unique ability to hit parts of a robot that a lot of Roboteers won't think to armor, and or sometimes can't physically armor, and that's ridiculous. It's fantastic, and genuinely, I could not be happier with that robot. It's beautiful, wonderful. The team are lovely, and just honestly, it couldn't go anywhere other than the arena.
It's kind of for that reason that I would really like to see them fight Bite Force.
I had them pinned to beat Bite Force because they're on the same side as the bracket.
They lost last year, but they had ongoing damage, and I would love to see the current Huge against the current Bite Force.
Yes.
I think it would be amazing.
Well, that aside,
Right.
Sarah, it's 2 votes to the arena, so Huge is going to go up there. Are you going to solidify it with a 3, or?
I mean, of course I am. I echo what everybody else has said. I can't really add too much more to that other than to just say that Huge is an iconic robot of Battlebots now. Since its debut in Season 3, you couldn't picture Battlebots without Huge, and any robot that has iconic status that's part of the furniture of a show in the way that Huge is for Battlebots now could not possibly go to the pit. So iconic Huge has to go up to the arena in the sky.
That is a 3-0 victory to Huge. I will just say, it's very interesting to have a robot such as Huge that has had victories, hasn't won the main championship, but you look at robots that make such a big debut, and because they look so different, they look so powerful. Things like Razor, for example, in Robot Wars, I would very much say that Huge has a very similar effect, and I hope we see it win a championship in the future because I think that was very deserving for it. And plus, it's got those great eyes. I mean, I've got to step in, take off a referee hat, and go, "It's got a face. I love it. Yes, thank you." Right, hat back on. Right, Reira, Oliver, which of you scallywags is going next?
Dibs.
Reira, are you ready?
Aye.
You have 3 minutes on the clock to talk about Railgun Max. I'm going to need to see some movement starting now.
Railgun Max is one of the teams from China this year. Railgun Max, captained by Elaine Wu, is this beautifully done egg beater spinner. I looked at it before going into the season and saw it as that is a very cookie cutter looking bot at first. I thought a beautiful design, but it looks very... I've seen this bot before. I've seen bots like Poison Arrow. I've seen bots that look very similar. And boy, was I fucking surprised when that bot became genuinely one of my favorites this year. Elaine handles herself fantastically in both the interviews and the pre-fights. She's got that really great balance between an effective robot and a sense of humor, unlike some of the Robotier.exes that we also have in the show. Something human calculator. But I just cannot believe how fantastically it's done. And as much as the free shipping fight was a questionable moment, it's won 2 fantastic KOs. I mean, the fight against Shellshock, it just decimated Shellshock. The fight against Mad Catter, it ripped Mad Catter a new one. The fight against Wan Hu was a tough fought fight, but again, it absolutely smashed. It's such a fantastically powerful robot. It's got a really brilliant design. As much as I thought before the season started that it looked a bit cookie cutter, it really isn't. It's really its own robot. It's a real shame about the play-in match. I think that it looked kind of like they teamed up on Railgun a little. But no, I think that they've had 5 fights this season, all of which have been fantastic. They've fought at events over in China as well, and they've even fought at RoboGames events. And, this bot is honed in. Railgun Max is a honed in, well-designed, well-captained superstar robot. And I love it. I really hope they come back next year, because top 16? Yes, please. I'm opening it up. I'll happily open it up.
You have 38 seconds if you've got anything else to say.
I say Elaine. You say Woo. Elaine.
Woo!
Okay, all right. I'll just open up. Get it. Go on. All right. It's the floor's open, guys.
I mean, yeah, Railgun is awesome.
I'm going to say that I love Railgun Max because it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Oh, well done.
That's it. I quit refereeing.
We should have expected the pun queen to bring pun.
I'm here all night.
You can't make a podcast with Sarah without puns. And you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs.
Oh, so can we talk about episode 30? Can we talk about free shipping? Because I love free shipping as well. I think Gary's an awesomely hilarious guy, and I think free shipping is a great robot. But I was really shocked by that fight. Really, really shocked. I was surprised that free shipping was able to, and I mean, somewhat of it is Railgun Max backfiring on itself. But you know, I've opened it up to the floor. What do you guys think of that fight?
I was a bit salty about that fight, actually. I agree.
It was definitely a salt-powered robot moment.
It was on the Shuntcast.
Did it win the award that week?
I believe it did win the Salt Powered Robot Award.
I mean, deservedly so. It was, quite a fight.
I don't like the fact that Railgun didn't get into the top 16. I really, really felt that they were top 16 worthy a robot, and it's a real shame that they didn't get in. And as much as, you know, they got their match, which is a well-earned play-in match, it hurt not seeing them go on.
Yeah.
And as much as they would have been paired against paired against Bite Force, you know, they probably wouldn't have won that. No offense, they probably wouldn't have won that. Also, another thing I want to talk about, this is a negative point. They have a habit of killing their own mini-bot, right?
I was going to bring this up. You know, when you look at something like Warstop and how effective it is in just picking up robots and driving them around the arena, they've tried to use that a little bit. I noticed with their mini-bot,
Justice for Platypus.
just picking up the robots underneath and trying to shove them into the spinner a couple of times, but they've killed
Justice for Platypus.
Percy disapproves.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, you literally Platypus with you, and he saw his family member beaten up by his own father.
No, I had to shelter Percy's eyes. He didn't see that, and he won't be listening to this podcast.
Oh, this is such a wonderful sort of moment as well, because I genuinely feel that next year are going to come back and they're going to make those improvements that every robot makes, and I'd be scared to fight them next year. Like,
I would be scared to fight them this year, but definitely next year.
Absolutely,
luckily, didn't have to fight Railgun Max this year, but yeah, next year if we get paired against them, am I battening down the hatches, Sarah? Are you?
Between the two teams, it'll be a very meme-worthy fight.
Oh God, yes, it will.
And I love Elaine. She's mental in all my favourite ways. So
she does seem
she does seem amazing. Oh, she gives no fucks, and I love that attitude.
I will just say that I thought that Railgun Max was very powerful, but I do feel that the caliber of opponents it faced was a bit meh in a way.
So let's have a look again.
So I've got a full
Shell
list
Shot there.
Mad Catter.
Mad Catter. You do not talk shit about Mad Mason.
No, you do not. You do not.
Mad
guys,
Mean Machine. He will come into your house and choke slam you, Mitch.
I mean, I feel like you've done that to me tonight already several times.
He'll turn up. You'll see Mad Cat in the corner of your room, and then you'll just hear from the distance, brother.
Moving on.
Wanhu was another equivalently good bot. It had some really nasty technical glitches, but Wanhu was a good bot, and I never sleep on free shipping.
No, I mean free shipping, absolutely.
And then it held out long enough to be worthy against Bloodsport and Uppercut, two of probably the most scary new spinners in the entire tournament.
I mean, that's the thing. I think whoever was going to end up going against Bloodsport first in that melee was going to take the worst of the damage and was probably gonna lose the match. You know, whoever did the Michael Oates strategy sat option. In this case, it was Uppercut.
God damn it, Alex Hattori. You're just like Oates. You're just like Michael Oates.
Michael versus Alex Yo-Yo battle then.
Take your yo-yos. You can give them to Bite Force.
But yeah, no, I other than the mini bot killing, I've been very impressed with it this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the only heavyweight egg beater that we'd had, at least on TV up to this point, was Hobgoblin, which hadn't really made a very good account of the egg beating weapon. Then we come across Railgun Max, and yeah, the caliber of the opponents it's had has not exactly been top tier, but the manner in which it's defeated them has been so dominant and so powerful that I think it's really made everybody sit up and listen. I'd be very curious to see what happens if they get placed against a higher carded robot next year. And I'm really excited to see what they do with the design because, yeah, as Reira said, it looked a little bit generic, but they really made it their own. They drive it incredibly wildly and aggressively.
Tactics are a little bit chaotic. Like, this is what I love. So, Sarah, as a fellow like heavyweight driver, what's your go-to like tactics for driving? Are you sort of like a Donald Hudson, I'm gonna outdrive them, drive it like a stole it, or are you more of a, like we're saying, a sensible driver of let's get myself into position? To give it a comparison, as I've
or a Greg Gibson slam.
Yeah,
I am a Greg Gibson slammer. I am kamikaze.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we saw that against Deep Six.
I mean, to be fair, with the Deep Six fight, the floor was an issue. Our ground clearance on that fight was underground, and I basically had to keep moving so that I didn't get stuck on the floor again, which, as you saw from that first hit, would have been a little inconvenient. So I had to keep moving, and then I just thought to myself, right, how am I going to win this fight? My hammer's not working. I might get stuck on the floor. Best thing I could do is just sod it, kamikaze it, and hope it yeets itself. And the plan worked because Deep Six did yeet itself. However, we also yeeted ourselves as well. So
I was going to say, what was going through your fight? What was going through your mind? Because it must have been terrifying.
Just keep moving, keep moving.
Don't stop moving.
Twat it, and then so we twatted it, and then it sort of there was a big bang, and then both our robots stopped working.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to put my vote on Railgun Max.
I'm happy to put mine as well because I think that Railgun Max is now the poster child for egg beaters. So
I'm so glad it's not Hobgoblin anymore because that thing did virtually nothing.
To be fair, we have had K2 in the beta weight class, repping it up for the egg beaters.
K2 is a
Battlebots champion.
Yeah, Oliver, are you happy to vote, or do you have any?
I do have one final point.
Go on.
And I'm going to word this carefully so it's not controversial. But they're fairly new team to. Well, yeah, they had experience in China, but by and large, they seem to be
and the US.
From what I understand, they're fairly, but at least as far as Battlebots has presented it. But who can trust what they say? But they've come over from China and they've given such a good account of the Chinese robotics scene and how well it's developed in the past few years. And unfortunately, we are in an era of toxic fandom, and whatever side you fall on that, whether you think that it's written full of Mary Sues and feminists and it's all pushing agendas, or you're completely happy with it, or you're somewhere in between. That's the thing that I really love about Robot Combat is it's not scripted. You come to Robot Combat and you do well because you're a good driver, because you're a good engineer, because you've got the skills. Okay, in some people's cases because you've got the money, but certainly in the case of Railgun, Chinese team coming over, female captain. Not that really matters too much, but yeah, it's fantastic, and it's not something that Unfortunately, we do have the angrier, saltier side of the fan base, but it's at least it's not something that they can complain about with any kind of basis.
What do you mean Robot Combat's not scripted? You're telling me that Bombshell didn't that Tombstone didn't throw the match for Bombshell? What are you on about?
I've just done some digging about Robo.
Go on.
Fact. So Railgun S, which is Railgun Max's previous bot, fought at Robo Games 2018. It got to the semi-finals and lost, and then went into the losers final, where it fought Uppercut and lost.
Oh.
Grudge match when?
Yeah, I feel there's a grudge building there.
Greg Munson, if you're listening, that's huge versus Bite Force and uppercut versus Railgun Max we'd like, please.
We're not demanding at all, we promise.
Just please.
Also,
Nelly versus Mammoth.
Nelly versus Mammoth.
Yes, Nelly Mammoth. That's the one fight we really wanted to see.
And Nelly for the nut, of course, because, you know.
Of course.
You pick that before the tournament starts, right? Who's winning them?
Oh, dear.
Absolutely. I mean, we actually did win the giant nut, and we're going to be using it as one of Nelly's hammer attachments for next year.
Oh my God.
I thought you weren't telling anyone about that, Sarah. I've been keeping that secret.
You know, the elephant's out the bag now. And in the room.
Oh
That
God,
must be a
that must
very
be
big
a big bag. Yeah.
It's out the bag and it's in the room.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Right, well.
Okay.
Elephants out the bag and God knows what else.
And platypuses yeeted by their fathers.
What? What?
To bring it back onto Railgun Max.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, sorry.
Their mini-bot is called Platypus.
I thought you said octopus, and I was like,
Octopus?
what? Octopus?
Yes, octopus. I give up.
Yeah, I think I give up at this rate too. Yeah, okay, let's go on to that voting. Where is Railgun Max ending up?
To the arena. It deserves every fucking fight that it got this year. I genuinely think it should have won against free shipping, and I think if it unfortunately donked into Bloodsport, it could have won its spot in the top 16.
I vote for it to go into the arena in the sky as well. It's the poster child for egg beater spinners now. The team are awesome, and it's a beautiful bot, and it kicks ass. So yeah, arena in the sky for me.
Oliver.
I mean, the two sort of criticisms we've had of the robot, that it eats its mini bot and that its strength of schedule hasn't been particularly strong. I said, yeah, you know, they have strengths showed by those weaknesses in that, you know, they're aggressive drivers and that the wins were spectacular. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's got to go in the arena.
That is our second 3-0 victory tonight, which leaves us with you, Oliver.
I mean, this is ominous because maybe you guys are going to try. Maybe you've scripted it now against me to make sure that it's not another 3-0.
Yes, of course. We've got to be evil to you sometimes, you know. So remind me what you're bringing to the table.
I am bringing Blacksmith to the table.
Big hammer boy, bonky
Big
boy.
hammer boy.
Right, you've got 3 minutes on the clock. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Well, here we go. You can start talking about Blacksmith now.
I'm going to start this off with an Ian Malcolm quote. Second of the evening, though, you may not have given, depending what order this airs in, but Al Kindle, you did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it. Got himself in the top 16, and I think it was very, very deserved. He's had 5 matches this season. Am I right? 5
I can check for you.
undercard matches.
All right, I've got it. Don't put me out my job.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 5 matches.
Quantum was unfortunate, so we will. It was, and it was a first test really in America of what that robot could do, and it was really an exhibition fight of how strong Quantum is. And you know, the Captain Shredderator and Rotator matches really shows how good Al's driving is. You know, he is very, very good at keeping that wedge pointed right where it needs to go, and yeah, all power to him. The one that really bugs me is the Sawblaze match. I think he should have won it. I think that the way that Sawblaze was waving its weapon around and lifting up the front forks, Al was making good use of getting under it, ramming it into the walls, hammering it at all times. I really think he did everything he could to win that match and still didn't win it, which is maybe the inconsistent judging that Reira was talking about earlier. We'll get to that if we do. But obviously its most recent fight was against Witch Doctor, and given how much Witch Doctor has leveled up since last season, and it really has, compare this year's fight to last year's fight, where Witch Doctor was sort of grinding against Blacksmith, and not really much of anything was happening, particularly on Blacksmith's end, until the sort of the one moment where it goes in the screws and comes out. But beyond that, fairly unremarkable. But this year, survived again and again, hit after hit. We've seen how powerful that spinner on Witch Doctor is. It took out Gigabyte shell. I think the fight from Witch Doctor Gigabyte, I've heard, was the one that put Gigabyte out of contention for the top 16 because it damaged the shell too badly. And it's destroyed Tombstone and Bronco, and it's just leaving a wake of destruction wherever it goes. And Blacksmith, it doesn't die. It was still swinging and somewhat driving at the end of the fight. Al has built up an amazing robot over the past 3 seasons, something that's incredibly durable and very well controlled. And yeah, the hammer, it's a hammer, and it's a flaming hammer, and it's spectacle, and it's not necessarily optimized to be a powerful match-winning hammer like something like Beta. But even so, yeah, it just swings and hits hard, and it's very impressive visually. I think it's got to go to the arena. How long have I got?
Yeah, you've just run out of time.
Fantastic.
So, the floor is open. These two can now yell at you if they need to. I highly encourage you to do that.
Hammers are terrible and no one should build them.
Thanks, John Reed.
I love Blacksmith, and I love Al Kindle. We have a sizable collection of Al Kindle memes and facial expressions on Shuntposting now, and I'm just all over that shit. I love it. I love a bonker. I love a good bonk. So, you know, I've got to root for the fellow bonk crew.
Absolutely. And I think that he's doing something really unique as well, a hammer. And as much as sometimes I do have to question whether or not, like, fire-breathing hammer works any better than a normal hammer, you can't deny that it doesn't look fucking awesome. It's a flaming fucking hammer. If someone turns up on your doorstep with a sledgehammer, petrol fire, you're going to run screaming for the fools. And I think that Al Kindle, like, he knows that, like, the flaming hammer is an aesthetics win, and whether or not, again, there is actually some effectiveness in there that I am not aware of as well. Like, it doesn't matter. It looks awesome. And at the end of the day, Battlebots is entertainment TV. And that's why we love robots that are there to entertain, like Blacksmith, like Nelly, like Deep Six, the ones that are there going, I'm going to do something different because I want to make people smile. And be that in your weapon choice in the terms of Blacksmith, be that in your aesthetics choice in the terms of Nelly, or be that in doing something so outside of the box like Mammoth or Deep Six. You can't take that away. And honestly, Al Kindle, props fucking to you, man. You are a rock legend.
I mean, I think honestly, it's either make people smile with what you build that's unique, or make them shit themselves in the terms of Deep Six, because Jesus fuck, that is a massive spinning weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really, really enjoyed the segment earlier this season about where the flaming hammer came from, the interview with Jenny Taft, and the whole sort of let's build a hammer, but also let's have fire coming out of that just being a random suggestion from one of the team members, and they made it work, and it looks amazing. It's the sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads kind of level of design and ideas here, but it looks so fantastic. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily do much. The flamethrowers do much other than look cool by and large, in a few places maybe, but
some of them definitely do. I mean, Saw Blaze heats the metal it's about to saw when it's got the saw.
Well, in conjunction with a sawing like Saw Blaze, yes, absolutely.
And free shipping has done more damage than you think with that flamethrower. Like I've been told people that free shipping is like genuinely like that's a flamethrower you don't want to go against. And you would imagine the same goes for Gruff then as well, because that flame cannon.
Yes, that is crazy amount of flames coming. But yeah, the flame that's coming from the hammer for a split moment as the hammer hits it, or even as it's being used to control it around the arena, it's going to do some damage, but not.
That was great against Shredderator when he just pinned the hammer down and was just like, I'm going to turn up the flames. I'm just going to burn Captain Shredderator.
See, this is the thing. That looks so cool. And also, Shredderator is polycarb top plate, so that's actually going to have an effect.
Yeah. Sarah, are we making Nelly fire spitting anytime soon?
I would love to fight Blacksmith. I'd love to bonk Al Kindle. Be good fun.
Well, let's not take that out of context.
No, of course not.
There have been several things that you've that we've said this podcast that we probably shouldn't take out of context, like taking huge upstairs.
I say, oh, that's happening, is it? Well, I am absolutely disgusted with you.
Wow, Oliver, how could you stoop so low? You brought the whole attitude of this podcast down. This is a family-friendly podcast.
It's all right. Everyone here knows about my love. She's my daughter, all right? She's my daughter.
I am fucking disgusted. This is a fucking family-friendly podcast, you cunt.
I think that's our first C-bomb.
Hey, first C-bomb.
I need to get the beeps out, the bonks
I
out.
tell you a little anecdote on this. Sorry to digress,
Oh,
but it's a
absolutely.
mildly amusing tale. And it's robot related.
Sure.
Speaking of the word cunt,
Oh no!
when I was at Robot Wars, which is, as you know, filmed in Glasgow, I was in the hotel the very first night I arrived, and the hotel room was rather warm, so I had the window open, and I couldn't sleep because I was absolutely wired, and it was about 1 a.m, and there was a drunk couple outside the window having a little argument, shall we say, and at one point the woman just got thoroughly fed up with the man and shouted, "Ah, you cunt!" It was there in that defining moment of my life where I realised that the accent that says cunt with the most conviction is absolutely Scottish.
Being
And
a
you
student
can't
in
disagree
Scotland,
with me.
I can confirm.
Oh, God.
It's also the best way to say bastard, because there's a bastard sounds all right, but you wee bastard sounds like a million times better.
I just love how the Scottish can make swear words into any sentence. Like, there's a comedian who says that he has genuinely, at a football game, heard the crowd go, "Fucking boo!"
Boo! I love that joke.
That's so wholesome. I love it.
Oh, I can't even remember which comedian that is, but I fucking love that joke.
Oh,
Just
it was on. Oh, it's on Mock the Week.
fucking
Fucking
boo!
it's not Frankie. It's
No.
another dude. It's another Scottish dude.
Yeah. On the topic of
Yeah, I was going to say, where are we?
Topic of cunts. Are we still there?
Oh,
dear.
no. On the topic of dropping swear words constantly, something Al Kindle's message in our the Shuntposting birthday video. There's my segue. Here we are. Blacksmith. Are we all talked out on Al Kindle's flamin' bonker?
All talk. When are we bringing all talk?
Something all talk.
I think this is all talk and no trousers at this point, and we should vote.
I don't remember No Trousers. Was that another robot?
Well,
Were they a cluster bot? All talk and no trousers.
Okay,
So-
I think this
So
is a-
weirdly, all talk Scottish. So we're on another weird. There we go.
Okay, I think it's safe to say no one else. So let's get on to that voting action. Where is this wonderful hammer bot going?
I think that Blacksmith is a aesthetically pleasing, and it goes to the fucking top 16. And if we're talking about this season, I can't talk anything but highly of it. So I'm going to make it a hat trick for me and put Blacksmith in the arena.
Okay, that's one vote to the arena.
I would like to give another vote for the arena because I would like Al Kindle to win a second three-way decision. So, but flawless
Fantastic.
logic here. Flawless logic.
is
Al
that
Kindle
is-
is winning a second judge's decision.
Judge Reira scored the battle for Blacksmith. Judge Sarah scored the battle for Blacksmith.
Judge Oliver.
Scores the battle for the winner, Blacksmith.
Okay.
Yeah, Al, I think you should have won the Sawblaze fight. Hopefully, this makes up for it. Your
We
robot's
can't-
in the arena, man, or immortalized.
We can't give you the saw blades. We can give you a station.
Well, I think it's rather important to note that I think it's the first time in ESC history we have three 3-0 victories, guys. So
Is it?
That is wonderful, and I'm really happy with that. Actually, I mean, we've brought robots to the table, all of us that are genuinely powerful robots. So I think that we're good.
I think on that bombshell, I'm saying it again, and
But we're not talking about bomb.
Don't sass me. Yeah, let's just wrap this all up. So, as a brief overlook, we have Railgun Max going 3-0. We have Huge going 3-0. And Blacksmith going, surprisingly, 3-0. So, I think that wraps it up. Social plugs. Queen Sarah, where can we find you?
You know, around. I'm everywhere, pretty much. Can't go far without me. I pop up everywhere. I'm on Battlebots, I'm on Bugglebots, I'm on Robot Wars, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube. Oh God, I'm everywhere. Help. What am I doing?
Don't forget as well that Sarah actually writes with the Shuntcast, and I'd just like to call out to your co-host Dale and just say I've got one powerful word for him. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say piano hands. Also, can I tell you about something that Dale did that never made it onto the Shuntcast, which I regret it not making onto the Shuntcast. So recently we had Will Bales on the Shuntcast, as you will all know, because of course you listen to the Shuntcast.
Absolutely, it's
so
brilliant.
we had Will Bales on the show, and just before we did the Skype call with him, Will messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, it's 8:30, I'm ready." So I messaged Dale and said, "Oh, hey, Dale, Will's ready." And Dale messaged me back and said, "Let's get ready to run Bales."
Oh, that's so good. Like, I normally don't like puns, but that's actually really good.
He also made a very terrible joke after we'd finished recording.
Okay, I'm ready.
What would you say is my most famous line from Battlebots at this point?
I think that went well. Oh, no, he didn't say I think that went well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He even made the meme about it with that shot of my face.
Wow. Okay, so we can find you on Nelly, Twitter, Facebook, and all that jazz. But actually, segue, you can find me on Nelly the Ellybot as well, because I too am part of that team, and we're definitely winning the nut next year. But you can also find me
erupting her.
Well, actually, it's not entirely true that it's me on the team, is it? It's this weird person who looks a bit like
Agent
me.
Reira.
We've got these
Special Agent Reira.
I've got these sunglasses next to me. Yes, hello. So it's Special Agent Reira that is on the team. I will be a tactician and main important source of information, and will definitely not be feeding it back to KGB.
Reira, where did you go? Who is this agent?
Sorry, what? There's
that is Special Agent Reira. She is the operator of the bonk bonk.
Oh, well, we will have to get this Special Agent Reira to guest sometime.
I am not doing a whole episode. Die.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
I have an important question to ask Agent Reira. When Battlebots?
I have acquired the Battlebots, and I am releasing them wild as we speak. I am letting them back into nature, as that is where they belong.
God, those damn Russian bots again.
Honestly, though, you can find me on Team for next year, but you can also find me on Team Roll Initiative Robotics, which is where I do like beta weights and ant weights, and hopefully some feather stuff soon. You can also find me Reira the Bard on Instagram. It's my personal page. I don't use it that often, but most important, I'm a shunt posting mod. I'm a mod posting shunt. Yeah, and I'm all over Facebook and all that shit. So I'm basically everywhere. Definitely not spying. What about you two? Where can we find you two?
Well, as usual, we have the ESC Facebook page. Please go like that for all the behind-the-scenes information about this wonderful podcast that we very much enjoy making, and we are very happy to share lots of things about production and when things are coming out and our plans and all kinds of things there. Subscribe to the channel because, of course, why wouldn't you? We're wonderful. No, seriously, we very much enjoy making this, and support would mean a lot. As for me, I am still doing Beetleweight stuff, Team Mott and Bailey on Facebook, Beetleweight stuff, Robot Arena 2 stuff, because Orcs Wars is coming out soon. Nice segue into Mitch.
Yay, Orcs Wars, I do something. Yeah, by this time, Orcs Wars is probably, I don't know, be a part into the series. You can check out on the Orc Wars on YouTube. I stream on Twitch sometimes under the same name. And I would say, by the time this episode comes out, because it'll be after Halloween, I should have my art Instagram page up.
Hey!
Which will, I don't know what the name will be, but whenever an episode goes live and I have it up, I will post a link in the chats.
I can't shout art Insta when anymore.
I mean, you can't shouting it into my ear. I didn't deserve that. I know you're trying to encourage me. Oh, my poor ears work me so hard.
But yeah, I think that's everything from ESC today. Well, I specifically look forward to Nelly being at Battlebots next year if it happens.
Yep.
Because I'll be there too. And it's basically a 2-week paid vacation. You know, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out of my bloody pension.
Yes, the taxpayer money.
I got the bill for that. Don't appreciate it.
Go recruit us some more ESC guests, Reira.
Oh, that's the plan. We need t-shirts.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, you've been wonderful.
And,
Welcome.
That's bye from us.
Absolutely. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Hurrah!
Bye.